think we can just jump right into where we're going. So, last session, you guys were in the Royal Hearth, which is connected to the King's Guild, where you all had your own separate rooms, and you were called down for dinner to both discuss and have a meal with Swanhild and a few others to discuss what had happened previously in the last couple of hours. So, unless you guys have anything you want to do beforehand, you would all make your way downstairs to the dining area, which is quite, it's not fanciful in any way. It's very homely. It's not grand in any way. There is a single chandelier for lighting with multiple light stones attached to it to light most of the room, and it's not sparse on decorations, but the decorations that are up are of very simple paintings of different parts of Berlin, and a few trophies of various creatures from what looks like some type of snakehead, some type of eagle, and a skull of what you could probably assert yourself as is probably a beholder of some type. And there isn't many people actually around the table. There's only around 6 people, excluding yourselves, that have already sat down on the table and are all looking in your direction as you come down. You would know 3 of them instantly as Swanhild, Shay, and Nissa. Actually 4. Gareth would be there as well. As well as 2 different ones which you are not familiar with. Actually, no. Seraphina, you would know one of them because of the Tower of the Mages, as Veronica Clementine, who would be the...
Is that the bitchy elf thing?
No, I don't believe so. No, she was the Archmagus of the Tower. And also one of the main leaders or heads of the Temple of Mistra. And the other one, though, you're not very... you don't know. It looks like just a very old dwarf with a very grey beard. And not much hair on his head. It looks like most of it's pulled back as well into a ponytail. With pretty nice clothing. Looks like just some decent leathers and cloth wrapped, and one pretty tight to his body. But he's pretty old at this point. Even for a dwarf, he's probably at least in the 2nd century. And yeah, they're waiting for you to come down to the dining table.
And if no one going down first, Wilbur will go down first. Well, to the people that's sitting down.
Wasn't Wilbur resting in the room while the rest of us went down?
He would be resting, yeah.
Also, we locked Wilbur in, so...
Oh, that is true as well, yes.
I'm sat outside his door, so...
I'm just imagining that we all go down collected, kinda.
Okay,
yeah.
sure. Yeah, you all go down together as 6, it's fine. So yeah, you would, after some time, you guys are resting. As I said, I think I said a short rest last session. Yeah, you would collect Wilbur again, who would be feeling a little better at this point. And you would come down together as a group. You would all have one side of the diamond table for yourselves, and the others would be sitting on the other side. As it's a very... It's about 30 feet in length, rectangular wooden table. There is other tables scattered around this room, which would probably be used as like the bar of this place, but it looks like this table is now the center point where everyone's sitting around. And as you come down, Swanhild's the first one to call you guys down to sit down. Please, sit down. We have much to discuss from the activities we've been all noticing and participating in various ways. The food will be coming shortly, but I think discussing would come first. Do you all sit down?
I'll sit down somewhere in the middle.
Okay. And as you look over at the other individual who's not part of the King's Guild, Veronica, she's human, and she's rather old, similar to the dwarf, but as a human she would only probably be late 70s, maybe a little older, also of pure white hair, done in a into a braid down her back, in long robes of quite dark and vibrant red with gold trims, and a necklace of 7 rubies, who's just taking in you guys all coming down and sitting at the table. So, from what I've seen and what Gareth has told me, you've all seen coming into whatever that was. I can confirm it was the book that created whatever rift that was. After collecting Wilbur from the underpaths of the Talon, the book was already gone at that point, probably with those cultists, or possibly even with some of the Talon members themselves, who, upon opening it, created that, for lack of a better term, I'm sure it would be a portal of some kind. To where? I don't know, and I'm not sure I want to know. But it was opened, temporarily it seems, and what came out of it has only been called a few things. Most recently is known as Ender, which I talked about, the cult of Ender. Mostly they were just a rabble of fanatics of various and quite varied ethnic backgrounds, as well as placement across most of the actual known world, had been gathering in different places, one being near here. And now that they've got this book, I am sure they will have some more followers of even worse backgrounds, one being Nev, who has already vacated the Brotherhood's party and is now gone. What that means for the Brotherhood, hopefully, means they're not going to make too much noise. Most of their firepower is now vanished, as well as a few of their other members. But we're keeping security on them to make sure. We have a few eyes. Shay will be one of them, but I digress. The cult of Ender. They've already begun moving further south towards some of the barren lands, towards the steppes. What they're looking for, I don't know. I have to speak to a few other people. Major Clementine, I think you may have some better idea on it, I'm sure. We could talk more about it after later anyway. Did you all have... I'm sure you do have questions. There is no doubt. Where do you want to start?
I look over at Wilbur and I say, what was such a powerful artifact done in the hands of a wandering adventurer? Surely it should have been locked away safely.
It was.
It certainly was.
So how did you come to have it?
That. As you can see now, with his nasty alien-looking scar, that it's hard to describe where it came from. With his one white eye that seems to... You're hard to see where it looks at, but you can see some movement of the eyelids, or whatever you want to call it, the eye itself, not knowing where it particularly... As he looks to Swarthilt, basically trying to like give her the sign, like, am I allowed to say out loud about stuff here?
I think it's okay. As long as you're not too detailed.
Well, I'm part of an order, which works with protecting from these kind of things to happen. I was supposed to guard the vault where this was kept. When now, as I suspect it have done, I suspected for a long time, harm me, or whatever you want to call it, pick it up and leave the place. It also made me grow hungry for knowledge. And made me untrusting of all other influences. As he put his arms on the table. Be so foolishly controlled. And he looks around the table. Time my friends get hurt because of me.
I put my hand on his shoulder and say, actually, I think we're all fine. Right? None of
Which
us got
shoulder?
hurt except Wilbur.
If I can interject, this is probably one of the better outcomes I've seen. When I found Shay over towards the islands of Tetsen,
So it was as I suspected then.
there was another book. From what I've been able to learn from her, at least, she, looking over at Shay, who's pretty awkwardly kind of huddled on one of the chairs. She was found alone in the burnt remains of, I imagine, some type of temple. Or at least part of the library section, at least, I'm sure. What I've been able to gather from her, which has been mostly in her own dialect, and even then, it's pretty broken. It seems to be pretty similar. It seems to be offering and strengthening whoever it connects to's desire. Shay's apparently was power. Fortunately, Shay went a little reckless and decided to burn everything. The book included.
Quick aside. I like there was something familiar about Shay, as in like, if I remember right, she might have been from one of the other temples from my order. Okay. In which case, I look deeply concerned.
I think it could be a good study to let me and Shay at least try to talk later on.
From what I've managed, she only talks in her own language. And even then, it's broken, almost like she doesn't want to talk.
I'm going to look at Shay, and in Primordial, I'm going to ask, is this the language you speak?
She looks at you with some type of understanding. She doesn't say anything though.
Okay, still in Primordial then, I'm going to say, I am Olanulava of the Temple of the Azure Dragon. I believe perhaps that name might have some significance to you.
She just blinks a few times. Gives a slow nod. And then just shakes her head like, almost with a, do I?
Okay. I'll just give her a small smile and start speaking.
Not to be rude, but have you tried arcane aid to help in having a further discussion?
I've tried not to push.
I understand.
If she's willing to talk, she will, but well, she's had her own issues. Her leg didn't survive most of the fire. That's why it's fully bandaged at the moment, as well as a bit of the corruption that you had, Wilbur.
Yeah.
Fortunately, most of the burning managed to close off a bit of it, but it's not fully gone. Which is why I had to remove yours, as I couldn't get rid of the book itself. Sorry.
You know, I will do anything for order. I will sacrifice myself. So being not able to write my own name is quite mentally tiring.
I'm sure you get better at it. So, what does this mean for our next steps? At the loss of what we do now, this coat of Enda is now, gone with the wind?
Scattered, what to say.
Hmm?
I'm sure they'll be back, at least to try to find the other books, if there's anyone close by.
That is possible.
How many of these books are there?
I've only obviously seen the two that Wilbur was connected with, and the one Shay was connected with. There's no doubt there's possibly more. The question is how many.
There's only a few people that I would know that would be able to know that, and I know they won't say. They ask.
Well, I've been able to, with what little I've been able to gain from a few of my watches of them, I can at least say there's probably around 6 others. Mostly because of the leaders, I guess we would say. They all go by various titles of sorts. I think we know where one of it is now. The one we had the run in only a few hours ago. You called him Marcus.
Yeah, shit.
I think he is one of them now. The question is of which one. I think they all have
If he survived jumping into the portal,
the rift, yes.
With our luck, Serafina, do you think he didn't?
Considering
It's possible that he's dead, but I don't think he would jump in without at least having known that there's a chance he would survive.
Considering things came out of it, things could probably go into it. The question is where did it lead to?
I think it's safest if we proceed as if he is alive. Assuming he's dead, we'll probably just come and bite us in the ass.
We'll have to spread out some feelers and find out where they could have gone or what they are looking for. It's probably something very odd and something very far locked away.
Wilbur looks over to Swordhill. Well, Lady Swordhill. Would you think the Forbidden Library would have any knowledge of this?
I think any library would help at this moment. Temple of Ogmo could probably help in some assistance. Magus Clementine, you could probably assist as well with some of your arcane knowledge and some of the older texts you may have. But I think this may be something further than just villain. Getting in touch with Griffin may help as well as some of the Isles. Arum, Tetson. They could have gone anywhere, especially now they have a few other mages in their grasp.
But we need to send letters over the sea.
Letters.
Would be, if so, if we can't get it by magical way, wouldn't. So we need people we know can send it.
Sending people is probably the best way. Letters can be intercepted. People can change their travel directories and find a better route.
I may know one ship that can help. But that's for another time.
I have a few ways of travelling as well. The question is where first?
Forgive me for making this slightly self-centered, but the reason that we came to King's Arch in the first place is we were suspicious that the Brotherhood might have been attempting some kind of assassination plot against the monarchy. Are we at the point where that's no longer a concern? Do we think that this has had enough of an impact on the Brotherhood that they wouldn't try something like that anymore? Or is that still a danger that we need to be mindful of?
Nice is actually the first one that interjects. Well, Well, I think we just want to get rid of them anyway. They're kind of dicks in their own regard, right?
I
Yes,
like you.
They are dicks, as you say. But yes, they're still a problem in their own regard. I don't think this will stop them fully. This may make them more desperate. Now that they're missing the vital power of Nev as one of their main sources, they may turn to more normal means of assassination.
Not to sound defensive and uncharismatic. I don't think they were even at this point were too stupid to rattle the snake's rest when it's already rattling.
You'd be surprised if people with an agenda would go for it. Especially as they're right there. Within reach.
What kind of impact has this incident had on the city?
We won't know until at least another day has passed. The immediate response is... well, it depends on where the people are. Here in the city itself, most of them seem to have brushed it off as just some type of storm or earthquake. The people in the commons, however, are a little more jittery. They're keeping the distance from the lower commons and in hushed whispers of what it could have been. Some are saying it's the end of times, some are already leaving the city already, heading further west, which could be a good thing.
Could be a bad thing. Maybe that's part of this cult's plan.
It could be.
I might have just had a terrible idea.
Do you want to share?
Well, our plan, as far as entering the tournament is concerned, was that we were going to try and keep an eye on the other competitors and see if we saw anything suspicious going on, and B, to attempt to secure the audience with the king for ourselves so that they can't get their hands on it. Perhaps if we were to construct some kind of narrative concerning the events of today and perhaps emphasize our involvement in it as the people who fought to protect the innocent humans in the commons, that might make us in some way attractive to the members of the Brotherhood infiltrating the tournament. If we can portray ourselves as people who perhaps might be sympathetic to them and might be quite likely to achieve this audience, that might draw them out to us.
You want to make yourself a target, so they come to you.
For
For
some of us, it's an area of expertise.
Gav looks at Swanhild, who looks back, is like...
It's a quite interesting plan, not being the one that's hunting, just to be the hunter for once.
Well, we're still hunting, we're just using a wee bit of bait to lure them out. I mean, admittedly, we are the bait, and they're murderous people, but...
It's definitely one additional option we may have. Stopping them from at least completing the tournament would be best, yes. This can definitely be a second option. If it comes to it, we can... no. But no, that's a good idea. We can keep it in mind. And if it does come to happen, You can do as you will on that. And
Not like I want to hide anymore, and after that I would definitely not be able to hide.
I'll be keeping watch.
As he looks over at the sword hilt and says, "How long do you think I have until a trial is set to beat for me?"
Possibly until you go back. There's been movement to the west.
Wait, a trial? You
Well, he stole something.
Forgive me for misunderstanding, but from the sound of it, it seems like you were possessed by a demonic book. Do we really place people on trial for the conduct and the influence of dark forces?
In the
Should
order,
we not be putting the book on trial, if anything?
Wilbur
I
looks
think
over to
the
Ulan.
trial is to prove that he was possessed and it was not his own volition. The trial is there to see if he should be absolved or punished.
But of course he should be absolved. Look at him, he's completely harmless.
As he looks over to Ulan with a slight
I don't
like
think Ken's going to
disgust face
just
at the thing. In the order we're trained to control even the biggest of controls that's people to try to do to your mind. This is a bigger disgrace to the order than you can think it is.
Aye, but if everybody who disappointed their tutors was placed on trial, then there wouldn't be anyone to even mediate the trials. Everyone would be waiting to be put on the stand.
It's also his vulnerability to outside sources. It has to be checked. Considering what we deal with on almost a daily basis.
Not to note that I didn't, under this whole time, figure out.
Is dangerous.
And you say this trial wouldn't occur until he returned to his order?
Correct. It will be unbiased, and I will probably return to give an account as well. But from the messages I've received,
I'm quite powerless as it is.
fortunately not in any rush, and they know where he is.
The only reason I'm even allowed to be going on ground is because of you, as he looks over to Swordhilt, isn't it?
Is what?
As he looks over to Swordhilt. The only reason I'm allowed to walk on this ground right now is because of you, Swordhilt, isn't it?
Not really, actually. There's been a few other people. Back in Devil's Landing that have been making a name. But as long as you return at some point, you should be fine.
I will make haste after the tournament.
So be it.
You can give them my word.
We may have more pressing matters than just that, but okay. I think we should have food at this point. And she claps her hands, and you can hear some movements in the background of chefs and waiters coming out with food.
One last question, Swanhild.
Yes?
Since we're on the subject of food, do you have muffins?
Never ending muffin.
A few of them break out. It's actually it'll actually be the dwarf that speaks up with a little bit of a chuckle. You boy, I like you.
We didn't have these magical things at the temple where I'm from. I
Right.
hadn't had them before I went to Cliffridge, and Well, I tried to bring some with me, and the bastard things evaporated into thin air because of magic
Fair
bollocks.
enough.
So
Brom, get this man some muffins, would you? And you just hear a in the back.
I am the world's happiest dragonborn.
I'd like to make sure everyone's happy here in the King's Guild.
What was the dwarf's name again?
He didn't say his name.
Okay, I'll just write him down as the Muffin Man then.
Here comes the Muffin Man.
Archie, you have to, never mind. But yeah, food comes out, of multiple different types of food. Mostly dinner, and then there's muffins. And it's just like a little small plate of muffins for Ulan. The rest of you have a various selection of dinners of meats, potatoes, breads, some soups as well as
Wilbur instinctively try to take the basically take off the knife with his right hand and going to take the fork with his left hand. As he fails to understand that, fuck, I don't have a left hand, do I?
You notice Shay watching you a lot more. Like,
The switch hand.
Do I notice this? Because I guess I'm kind of sat next to Wilbur.
yeah.
I will just very subtly do a gesture with my hand, and I will hold the fork in place with my magnet powers, just to like hold the meat still so that he can cut it on his own.
Thanks, so we're not having a Game of Thrones here where I just sit with a knife forever.
Okay, you have a magic fork floating next to you. Yeah. Alright.
As he looks over, okay, and cuts his meat.
And yeah, you guys have a meal for however long with the rest of these members. The mage, Mage's Clementine, does walk out, gives a small conversation to Swanhild, and then exits. And gives a short bow to the dwarf, and then leaves. So, you guys are eating dinner. Any conversation you can do, or you can skip over it?
Well, I'm fresh out of arm puns, so...
Well, I'm gonna hand it to you. That was a quite good one.
Oh dear.
Well done.
Well then. Actually, Nisa brings up a little bit of conversation. So, I hear you guys are entering the tournament. Is that right?
Aye, that's the plan.
And you're confident?
We're always confident. It's not necessarily rational for us to be, but...
Alright.
To be honest, we're not exactly entirely sure what we're getting ourselves into. It just seemed like the only way to help ensure the bad guys didn't get to stabbed or poison or whatever they're planning to do to the king.
We have a little bit of competition because me and a few others are entering in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We managed to get away with it. Given a similar situation to yourselves, really. We can make a bet about it, I guess. It's gonna be me.
I'm sorry, I have a policy against just taking away people's money unfairly.
You really are confident. Well, if you can take on Shay, then maybe you will take my money. That's if you're sure you can.
Shay will be competing as well.
Oh yeah, I managed to somehow get her involved.
I turn to Shay and in primordial I say, I look forward to seeing the teachings of your temple in action then.
She kind of gives you an up look, and then there's almost a little smile comes out.
Of course, Wood's gonna kick your ass every time, so don't get your hopes up. And I give her like a wink.
Well, during this time, Willow will say, well, I suppose I was going to be on the main roster of the battle, but after I got disarmed, all I can do is watch from the sideline, so I will take you up on this bet. Though I don't have any money at the time. But I do have a quite nice cloak upstairs.
You want to bet your cloak?
Yes, a magical item that turns you into a wolf for a couple of hours.
Well, now this has gotten interesting. Alright, I guess I'll
Thanks, assholes.
put down my Sure. And she pulls out from a little satchel she has on her side a ring. Well, I can do this ring, I guess. It's a spell storing ring. You've heard of these? It's actually has a couple of my spells already in it.
takes his one eye and looks to Serafina for her face expression. The word spell storing ring. Anything?
I look at it with curiosity. I probably have seen something like that before.
Yeah, sure, you've seen a spell storing ring.
So I just take a note of it, look at it, but
And
nothing more than that.
it's got a few of my spells already in it, so sure, we can bear this.
What spell?
This is Nissa, right?
Yeah, Nissa.
What spell?
You
Are
want to
you
know the
asking
spell?
her?
I am asking her, yes.
Lightning.
Hello.
I'm pretty good with it. So, we got a deal?
Yeah, as he takes his right hand out of the basically like trying to figure out, yeah, right hand, to shake her hand.
Well, alrighty, righty.
I like her so much.
Oh my god. I'm fucking surrounded.
As you can basically see, we've been face planting the desk as he shakes her hand.
Nissa.
Okay, that somehow
What?
makes it a little bit better.
I kind of had to. Fine. Well, that's enough for the evening, I guess. I will be departing. It's been a pleasure. And good luck with the tournament. As Swanhild exits. Not actually eating too much. And you could tell from her manners, she was being
Quite
pretty,
hasty.
not finicky, but she was eating pretty small portions. Gareth's still there. Nissa's still there, as well as the dwarf, who's eating away probably faster than Ulan. So there's little bits.
Hang on, do I notice this?
Yeah, it's pretty
Oh.
obvious.
quicker.
My
Eating
god.
competition.
Honestly.
But no, I'm like trying to eat casual, like
Okay.
not seem like I'm eating
Just
quicker,
fly
but
casual.
like-
You know, just fly casual, just like under the radar.
Yeah,
Yeah. He doesn't pay attention to it, he's just eating.
that's fine. I'll know.
he quickly finishes his and is like, well, alright, that's me done for the evening. Pleasure seeing you all, and hope to see you around again. Always like seeing new faces around these parts. If you're interested in joining, well, I'll think about it. Gareth, don't stay up too long.
I'm afraid I didn't catch your name there, friend dwarf.
It's Archie around here.
Was that Archie?
Yeah.
And I give him a respectful nod and say thank you for the muffins.
You can thank Braun for them. Well, I'm out. So, no, just wave his hand and moves for the door.
I would like to inquire Gareth and Swanhill about the night orders they are from.
Swanhild's gone, Gareth's there.
Well, and Gareth and the different night orders.
Okay, and Nisa's there, so you could ask her as well. What do you want to know about them? They are in 4 branches. They all stand for various things. My own order of the Arcane Flame, we are, as you would probably say, magic knights. Trained in both sorcery and the way of the blade as a combination. Nisa, yeah. Mine. Well, I'm the Knight of the Spectral Gem. We're kind of just straight up magic guys. With a little twist on it. Because I kind of had a little bit of a druid background. Came from Aram and started heading west for a while. Came here. Went over to the Arcane College. You guys heard of that?
Oh, I'm intimately familiar with the Arcane College and its fantastic muffins.
I trained there for a while as well. Picked up a little bit more. Yeah, it was pretty easy for me to get into the knights that way. I'm pretty good with the lightning, and she kind of just does a little zap between her 2 fingers.
Ulan just chuckles and goes, "That's cute," and then I use my breath weapon to make crackly lightning in my mouth.
Well, that's going to make chewing hard.
Yeah, it adds a nice wee zing to the flavour.
Well, I can show you some other lighting later, but not in here. And the other 2, the Silver Blade, that is my sister's. They are the knights that, well, similar to her order and the one your friend Wilbur here is part of. They deal with abominations and monstrosities that may do terrible things to townfolk and the rest of the kingdom. So she's pretty good at killing beasts.
From what I've seen, she's pretty good at killing, period.
Yeah, she's pretty good at that. And the other one, the last one, the Knights of the Golden Sun. They are probably the most obnoxious, I would say, but not in front of them. They're mostly clerics, paladins, that sort of thing. Very almost religious, but they are very good with the blade. Almost as good as my sister. Almost. And they are the most that roam around. You rarely see them actually in the city. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to know about them, or is that enough for a history lesson?
I think that will suffice for now.
Alright, that is great. I think I'm going to drop out as well. It was a pleasure, and thanks for the assistance.
Anytime.
I may as well again, considering what's going to be happening soon. Good night. And Gareth gets up and leaves. So at this point, it's literally just you guys and Nissa.
Did Shay leave as well?
Oh no, Shay's there as well.
Okay, cool.
She's just kind of huddled, just like picking at food off a thing with like just the fork.
I'm going to subtly clear my throat, and in Primordial say, "Hey, sister," and then toss her a muffin.
She catches it. Yeah, without looking. She kind of just looks up at you from eating. Is like, thanks. And begins eating the muffin. Quicker than the rest of the food, so she likes sweet stuff.
Of course she does. It's a muffin. I'm glad to see the monk skills employed properly there for blindly catching muffins. That's what they're for.
Yep.
All the years of training.
Catch muffins.
Usually at catching flying things. But yeah. The rest of the evening passes, I guess. You guys finish your meals, and then head up to your rooms for the evening. Yeah.
Before
We were supposed to talk with Wilbur.
Yeah,
Well,
before
you can
we
if you want to.
leave, yeah, like
Okay.
once everybody else has left the table,
Yeah,
I think we'll just
the rest of
hang
them
around
leave pretty shortly after. Shay goes chasing after Swanhild, to try and find her at least. And Nissa just strolls out, gives it like a peace out, and leaves. Which is hilarious because she's like same height as Seraphina.
And she's probably got a movement speed of 20 feet as well.
Yeah. No, yeah, she does.
No.
Yeah, 25.
25.
She's pretty slow, but yeah. Anyway.
So, Wilbur, is there anything else that... Well, I was going to say that you feel like telling us, but let me rephrase. Is there anything that you should tell us?
He looks around. Is there like anyone else in the room?
Nope. It's literally just you guys now. All the staff is now cleared out. 'Cause it's moved on to like, I want to say like 10, maybe even 11 at this point.
Reads out. I have no feeling of hiding anything more. What I'm about to tell you, have I never told, you have never heard it, or you have never even had a quite slightest idea of what this is. Do all understand, or do they need to leave the room? Very, very basically like, yeah, listen to this or not. Go away.
After all we've been through, Wilbur, I think you can be fairly confident that your secret's safe with us.
This is not mine secret to keep. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, Wilbur seems pretty hesitant to speak too much.
At some point, Wilbur, you're gonna have to learn to trust someone. And from what you were saying earlier, that was a luxury that your book experiences robbed you of, so perhaps now is the time to start.
Fine. But if I get hanged for this, you know why? I'm part of the Order of the Defenders of the Midnight. You have never heard this. This is the organization which protects the night, protects the civilians from the night and all that incurs there, including demons or all in between. My specialty is fiends. In Devil's Landing, a small place outside of Devil's Landing. It's where the safe house is, or safe haven, where all of us recombine and go back. It's also where I will have my trial. Trial set by the Great Hunter and Moon Carrier, the so-called, a good term for use, the general of this organization. And he is the one to give me a trial, to sentence, and to kill me if the sentence is guilty. I am a hunter, or a definition, a hunter, or was supposed to be. 2 days before my full training was done is when I left the place with the book. Art of the Blood Hunter. Use archaic methods of replacing nearly a whole bloodstream with venom that destroys a man. I'm not as much human as people think I am. This is why I use, as you have seen, my own blood to be able to create fire, ice, and lightning. Is there anything else you want to know? Looks quite basically like he knows they have done something he can die for right now.
How did you and the book happen? As you said, you were still in training, right, when it happened. So what were you doing anywhere near a book that dangerous?
Well, as a dawn or a trainee, we do have maintenance job and other stuff to do. And I have been part of the order for nearly 30 years, as I was brought in at a young age. But my training was always delayed, or my graduation was always delayed because of my bad physique. As it looks quite flustered now with losing the arm that basically gave him the rank of hunter nearly. So as because of the long time I have been in the order, I was seen as basically a hunter, but not by rank. So from time to time, I got guarding duties, and one of the guarding duties is to protect the vault. But that one night,
Protected alone? Surely there should have been more than one guard.
the vault itself is guarded by one guard, but it's an arcane lock on the vault that shouldn't be able to be opened by except for a higher ranking person, either a great hunter or what you would call a major in army terms, or a shade collector, which was supposed to become a researcher or steward or whatever you want to call it, with allowance of a great hunter that knows the code. The vault itself opened to me, and I felt compelled to go in, and there I found the book, compelling me to take it with.
Did you say that the vault opened on its own?
That was exactly my
It's
question.
it's all I can remember it did. If it's an altered memory or it did happen, I don't know.
Is it possible you were used somehow by a higher ranking member?
As he looks down. To even become a great hunter, the trials are so hard and so unforgiving that I don't think anyone of that corrupt of a feeling or corrupt of a mind itself would be there, but no one is incorruptible apparently. It is possible, but I wouldn't know who it is. And at the time, there weren't many great hunters in the safe haven as there was.
Do you remember which great hunters were there?
Not particularly, but
Would there be any way to find out?
maybe one of the Dawnbringers or Shadowmakers would know. A Dawnbringer is a recruiter of sort, and a Shadowmaker is a trainer of sort. Maybe one of them would have seen, as they have better connection with the outside. I was quite sheltered, so even if I've seen them, I wouldn't know their names. And with the upcoming of my final trial of sort, I was quite engulfed in my studies and only did my duties as was needed. I may know one other person. I know some more what did happen and who were there at the time, but I need to meet him in person to be able to see if he knows.
And whereabouts would we find this person?
Well, if he's not home with his family, should be in a safe haven, or at least in Devil's Landing.
Right, which is the exact opposite of a wise place for us to go at this point.
Yes.
Can you think of any reason why it would make a difference whether or not you had formally graduated? Because I'm wondering if there's something about that, the fact that it was so close to graduation that it needed you before you graduated.
Except for starting
Give me an
More.
intelligence.
Uh.
You're not really sure. There is things that happen between your training and the graduation that you're not sure, but nothing comes to mind.
Nothing really comes to mind per se. I know that the only thing I can think about is that I didn't had to start my there's a study that you do which depends on, as a hunter you start to study more individual about what you can do, not what you should supposed to be able to do. That's all I can think about.
So there's no rituals involved in the graduation or anything that would ward you against the influence of such items.
As I had never been part of the ritual of the graduation itself, or I wouldn't be able to know. It sort of is a thing that they keep from the dawns until they're ready. All I know is with the other group of dawns that was ready for the trial, I would go with a great hunter somewhere.
Did you know what was in the vault when you were guarding it, or was that secret?
That was secret kept, but I do remember seeing armors, weapons, and other books inside.
So you'd
But
seen in. But oh, do you mean when you were
when I
drawn
went
inside?
in, when I
Right.
was drawn inside, before that I've never seen anything.
My meaning is that since we were talking about how a great hunter would be needed to open the door, perhaps a great hunter would be needed to know that there was anything even in there.
Don't even know if all the great hunters know. It's probably a collective few that the great hunter and moon carrier have said can be able to know, and of course some shade collectors that are sanctioned to be able to do research on what is inside the vault.
I don't suppose there's some big, infamous, villainous enemy of your order by any chance, is there?
The night itself it is. But no, except for all vile creatures in the world. Not really. Though I nearly started something that could end the world. Which we have a saying for, if you want to know.
That would be pushing it.
Well, that was Wilbur's overthinking stuff.
Don't be so melodramatic. You didn't start the end of the world. You just mucked up a wee bit of a town.
I agree. At most, you were a pawn. Now you have a chance at seconds, right?
Well, technically, I should be killed by this because of saying it. But I'm said to you, so
He didn't say anything to us at all. I don't know what you're on about.
Sorry, were you talking? I must have missed it.
I know your natural inclination at this point is to be beating yourself up, but I am pretty sure that Swanhill got there first when she cut off your fucking arm. So, in terms of penance for actions, I think you're more or less balanced. And I think you're left with two options at this point. Either you can mope around and blame yourself and be all woe is me and all of that crap, or you can use what knowledge you've got in that skull of yours and the arm you've got left and you can try and fix it. So which is it going to be?
never said I was a quitter. But thanks anyway, as he looks to the rest of the party. I will fight on with what I got. But I won't be running in the front anymore.
Oh, thank
Lit-
God for that. Thank God for
Leave
small
that,
mercies.
Leave that to me.
This does all leave us with an interesting conundrum, though. What the
Which
hell
is
are we
what?
going to stick on your arm? What are we going to do about that? Are you going to just stay all lopsided, or?
Are there not artificers that could somehow assist?
Fashion something.
Mm,
What's an artificer?
mm.
I don't. I'm afraid I don't know this word.
It's
You
someone
mean
who-
artificer?
Yes,
That's helpful. So they
I-
make things.
it's people that perhaps have some both mechanical and technical knowledge and
So like a magic blacksmith.
pretty much.
Well, why do you not say magic blacksmith then? God, you people are strange.
Well, it's not necessarily magical.
They
I think
combine.
it's gnomes have this thing called clockwork. You know what goes in clocks?
Clockwork. Is that like clogs?
Yeah.
No, like more like the shoes.
No, clocks. Then timepieces.
You mean like hourglasses?
Not quite.
I know that.
Tell you what. Tomorrow, when we're going out shopping via ourselves things for the tournament, we'll find a little gnome workshop and we'll show you what we mean.
I only seen. Well, I was in training that some shade collectors were knowledgeable about stuff like that, but I have little to no knowledge. I'm quite diligent in be able to do things. So maybe I could figure out something myself in the end, but this is out of my expertise for now, at least.
Quite handy, eh?
I can't even.
Now this is just me like thinking out loud here, but have you considered getting a really big crossbow attached to your side? Have like a crossbow arm.
And how would I move the arm? If you haven't seen,
Have you
But
not
in-
heard of it like a puppet? Have like a wee little stick thingy, and you aim it with one hand, and then you pull the trigger.
the idea is
Wouldn't-
interesting.
Wouldn't the recoil break or slack of his shoulder?
Don't spoil this for me, Ivlamore.
Minor details.
Yeah, minor details. Not like the recoil of it, the thing would burst my arm out or something.
Come on, guys. I'm trying to set us up for a whole slew of like ballistic ballista puns here. Don't undermine the work.
But about ballistas, I'm quite knowledgeable about that thing by now. I may be able to make a ballista of some sort that I can mount up, but that would take some time.
And you probably need 2 hands.
You can reload and shoot a ballista with one hand.
Well, making it.
I can have like a duelist helper arms. But
You
very
don't
much
need
bigger.
help if you have minions.
Alright.
Well, for now, I'm a one-handed old man without
You're
a
not that
cane.
old. In fact, how old are you?
30.
I'm 36.
36
soon
and
to be-
old?
Wilbur, I have 4 years on you. Don't knock it.
But you are a dwarf.
This is true.
My prime age is way gone already.
You've still got a few years left.
Well, in 2 months when I turn 37, I'll feel that.
2 months. Alrighty then. So,
Maybe you should consider asking Mistress Seraphine if she'll train you in the arcane arts. That way you don't
About
have to
that.
fight in the front.
I don't think the Celestial Wolf likes that idea.
Not really. About that, you know that I could do some sort of magic tricks before.
Wait. You know your cloak thing?
Yes. The one I
Would you
bet.
turn into a 3-legged wolf?
I think he would, actually.
no, because it's polymorph, so it just changes your entire form.
Yeah, otherwise I would be a limp wolf also. And I wasn't.
Yeah, but would
Oh!
any of us know this?
You mean a wolf that's limping?
God,
I was just
no.
imagining like
Oh.
no, I wasn't even thinking that. I just meant like a floppy wolf. That's just like all like slumped on the floor. I was like, what?
Just, I'm done.
You went a step further than me there, D, that's all I knew.
So done.
But yeah, polymorph changes all your stats, so yeah, you get 4
Yeah.
next. Anyway, yeah. Do you guys finish up for the evening, or?
Oh, and about something.
Nope.
Okay then, as he start walking up the stairs.
No.
Wait, what
That's
were
not
you
what I
gonna-
meant. The nope was to Ambi, Wilbur, and not to Wilbur, rather. That wasn't in character. Oh my god.
Clarify that one.
I'm going back to bed.
And I ordered something, but I need 10 gold to get it out. Can I loan that from someone?
I find 10 gold and hand it to Wilbur.
But you don't need to loan it. We got party funds you can...
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got...
Although I think perhaps, considering the events of today for all of us, I could think perhaps we should institute a new rule within the group that no one goes anywhere alone, ever again.
I'm up for that.
I agree.
So, how about we take you out shopping tomorrow, Wilbur, and replace some of what you've lost?
First of all, I would like a cane. My leg, without the influence of whatever it was, my leg is killing me even more than usual.
Well, you're in the market for replacement weapons, right? Perhaps a badass staff or a spear or something would be even more useful.
Or a
But
sword cane.
if you like his hurting that much, maybe we can ask Swanhill to cut it off for you. And then you can get a peg leg.
I may come from a coast town, but I don't want to become pirate.
What if, right? Now hear me out here. We get a saddle for Steve. We tie you to the saddle so you don't fall off, and then we tie a lance to where your arm was, and you can just ride at things.
Well, that's quite nice, but I do know how to ride a horse. It's not like you need to tie me up like I was a wooden
Yes, but
dummy.
you won't have a hand to hold the reins and a weapon. I think that's
Well,
his,
if the lance is like tied to him, then I suppose we'll be alright. But it's harder to stay mounted unless you get a fancy saddle, I suppose.
I'm sure there's somewhere in town we can have a custom saddle made.
We'll go shopping. We'll have a big shopping spree tomorrow. Because like, when's the opening of the tournament's not until the evening, right?
Tomorrow evening, so we need to nip around quick. I think we can't dilly dally.
Well, we'll go shopping. We'll buy some matching hats or whatever, and then,
Had to be hats.
well, not necessarily hats, matching cloaks or tabards or something. Just something so that we match. I've been scouting out the opposition. That's where I was off to earlier today, and where I was close to the wee shitstorm that went down. And all of the other teams don't seem to have any kind of matching colours or outfits or anything, and that's just sad.
Here's a thought: if someone can come up with a logo or coat of arms in the night, we could have a flag made, and we could strap the banner pole to Wilbur's shoulder where he's missing the arm, and then he could be the team mascot.
You want to put a flag on his shoulder?
Yeah.
As nice as it is to be useful, I don't want to become a puppet.
Why would you strap it to his shoulder? It'd hang all weird. You need a hat with a wee stick on.
Well, no, I'm saying you strap the pole, a banner pole, the flag will be on, to his left side.
Well,
No.
Just
Get him
not
a
to
big
pop
tall
your
walking
bubble,
stick and then
people.
flag.
not to pop your bubble, people, but if some of you want it to attach to you, you can stick it on your back.
Yes, but we'll be fighting or doing the challenges or whatnot. You can't, so we're just trying to include you in the event rather than you just sit on the side, not doing anything and moping
Weren't
around.
we supposed to investigate the opposition?
Well,
But-
why do you even need to sit on the side? I mean, there's gonna be a challenge of intellect. You might as well complete the challenge.
Of course, I will complete that challenge. If it's
So
not,
you won't be a mascot. You'll be a participatory member of the team.
yes, and that's how I will be able to have. If I may not be able to fight per se, I can use that time to scout the opposition.
DM question: wasn't the structure of the tournament you did a challenge and then you had to do a fight?
No, it was you need to complete a challenge in order to qualify for the fighting round, but and you can only have 4 people in the fighting round, but you can have substitutes. So like we could all have done an initial challenge to get into the second round.
Oh, okay, fair enough then.
Yeah, but it's still 4.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be a long day tomorrow. I suppose we need to go to bed before the next day starts.
I already started walking off.
Oh, did you? I will. That sounds like a good idea then.
Yeah, it's pretty light.
And I'll bow good night to everyone and then speed off after Serafina.
Alright. Is everyone going up to the beds?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
About time.
Wait,
No.
no?
I will find Ulan and
Well, I'm following you,
meditation.
so yeah.
Yeah, meditation.
That's why I'm running after you.
Late night meditation, sure.
And a bit of a chat as well.
Alright. You two can just give me. What can I do for meditation? Sure. Wisdom. Let's do wisdom. Yeah. Both give me wisdom
And
checks.
at some point before everybody goes to sleep, I'm going to give Serafina the boots of sprinting. Because she needs to, I believe they need to be attuned to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a Serafina row.
That's fine. That's completely in keeping with everything that's happened anyway.
Yeah, that's alright then. Yeah, sure.
Lol.
So yeah, as you two are talking, Ulan's just like full on zoned out, like middle of the waterfall. There's water surrounding him, and he's like, whoa. Serafina just like
Kind of waterfall.
trying to squish her eyebrows together, just not getting it. But yes, you two talk, I guess.
Yeah, I couldn't help noticing earlier they mentioned the possibility of problems in your homeland, and you got a wee bit uncomfortable.
My family lives there. I just worry about them.
I am. Do you want to head back and find out?
Oh, Swanhill did say that they could be anywhere. So,
I suppose nowhere in the entire world is safe at this stage.
so when the time comes that we travel there, I would like to check on them, yes.
Okay. Well, I'd like to as well, since, you know, you've spoken about your sister's baking. How are you holding up anyway? After everything that happened today, I imagine a big scary swirly thing to another plane is not exactly a pleasant thing for you to endure.
Yeah, and the thing about the book,
Aye.
Wilbur, makes me worried too.
Are you starting to regret the decision you made, or do you still think trusting this Pyrox is the best way to go?
I don't know. But I want to know. But seeing what happened with Wilbur makes me worry.
Well, you have something that Wilbur didn't have. You've got friends who know, and that'll keep you safe.
Thank you.
You do realise I'm only being nice to you because of your sister's muffins, right?
Then I will have to postpone the meeting so I can be friends with you for a little longer.
Oh damn, that plan didn't work. So, with this Pyrox guy, when you first told us about it, you said he gave you scary dreams, basically? The whole fire corridor thing. Have you had any more since then, or are you sleeping okay?
Not since I told you about the dream with where I saw myself. No.
Right, so it's not an every night business. That's good. And are you doing okay? You know, are you
I
like
am.
holding together, or?
I am at the moment.
You know that it's okay if you're not, right? You don't have to be strong for anyone's sake. It's alright to need help and to...
I think you were concerned, but at the moment I'm fine.
Alright, it's just this business with Wilbur and the whole...
I know.
Everything that could have been avoided if he'd just trusted enough and not tried to do it alone. I don't want to see you end up in the same problem. I don't want to be standing there seeing you being carried unconscious under someone's shoulder, missing one of your limbs, or, you know.
I will tell you if anything changes.
You damn well better do. Also, you're sitting wrong. That's probably why you can't concentrate with your meditation. Swap your legs over.
Oh.
Otherwise, the one that's underneath is going to go to sleep and it'll feel weird.
I adjust how I sit.
And then I start some kind of pretentious fade to black meditation speech. Like, imagine a tranquil pond. Match your breathing to the ebb and flow of the waves.
As fade to black, you eventually all go back to bed.
Is there
And
any
see.
like paper or ink in the room?
Your room? No, because they
actually
took out all sharp implements.
Damn it. Oh right, I don't even have a quill.
You don't have a quill or a book, so you're gonna have to wait until later.
Learn how to write again.
I can level now!
So yeah,
Yay!
you'll take your long rest, and we fade to black as you guys either level up or sleep.
How many sessions has it been, D?
3? I think it's 2 sessions that you leveled up 3 sessions ago. So yes. Anyway,